Hi, and welcome to the Virgin River Cafe Rewatch podcast. Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning, Tracy.
How are you
What's
doing
shaking?
today?
I'm doing good. It's another good day.
That's good. Okay, well, today we have 3 episodes left. I can't believe we've
Wow.
made it this far. We've done what is it? 60, what is it? 64 total episodes and we've done 61. This will be 61.
Who would have thought it would come to this?
We've been doing
Mm-mm.
this for over a year. Like, we've only
I know.
missed maybe like 2 weeks out of, everybody needs a break. But we've only
Yeah,
missed 2 weeks out of all of that.
that's just wow.
That
That
is
is just,
wild. Commitment, right?
tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for doing this crazy idea with me. I know in the
Hey,
beginning you were just like, really?
it took me like 2 seasons. It took me like into the second season to go, okay, well, maybe this is fine. Because I wasn't so sure about the first season, honey.
I know, but it's been a lot of fun. We talk all the time anyway. We talk almost every day anyway. So this just
Yeah,
adds to our conversation. We were talking about the show anyway. It's like maybe
that's
people would want
quite
to
true.
listen. And we're
Quite
up
true.
to over 8,300 downloads.
Yeah,
And I know
that's
for
pretty
some podcasts that's like they get that in a day, but
exact.
this is just two chicks in California talking about Virgin River. Like, who would have thought? And people from literally all over the world in our podcast app where I can see like statistics and what have you. It's crazy how it's people from, I just looked it up, 58 countries and over 1,000 different cities. People are listening.
Wow, that's
So
impressive.
that's crazy. That is crazy.
That's
And maybe some people listen to one episode and go, "Yeah, these two are like whack," you know. And there's people maybe that listen to more than one episode, and
well,
not every episode is awesome. I think some of them are funnier than others because I'm when I'm editing, I'm sometimes laughing at
uh-huh.
something we've said, like I'm laughing with us while we're laughing as I'm listening, as I'm editing, because I do all the editing. I sit there and we record it, and then I go and I edit it, and then I listen
Yes,
to it
ladies
to
and
make sure
gentlemen,
that it's right.
she is the tech person. I just show up to talk. I know nothing about anything.
That was all I required of you. I said all you have to
Uh,
do is download an app so that we can do this
yeah,
and
because
talk to
I
me.
can I
That's it.
can barely turn on my computer, people. So just FYI, just so you know that. Okay, so she's the techie person with the techie
I
husband
had
with
to
the techie.
figure it out. My kid and my husband had to like help me. And when we have
Right.
technical, we've had to like not record on a certain day because we're having
Oh
technical
yeah,
problems, which
yeah,
happens. But
yes.
we always figure it out. We always figure it out. It's fine.
I'm just glad that no one came to me to ask me how to do anything because that would have been the beginning of the end.
Well, and I told you that the requirement was all you had to do was show up and talk. I would figure it all out. I would edit it. I would produce it. I would take care of all that as long as you showed up because it's just you and me. So
Mm.
the
Well, thank you, techie gods, for giving her the techie knowledge.
and being married to the techie knowledge also
That's
helps a
true.
lot too.
That does help a lot. Also,
So
having a techie child.
yes, a techie
Um,
child. Yes, this
but
generation.
sometimes she knows the answer even before your husband does.
Right? I know. I've
Uh,
had her help me a few times. And she's like,
so
look, she
he
looks at it and she's like, it's right here, mom. It's like, okay.
she,
I
she
birthed
like it.
you and I taught you how to use a spoon, so shut up. you know?
I know they get a little sassy sometimes.
Welcome to my world. Okay. So, if you're ready, let's talk about
Yes.
our coffee today.
Well,
So,
my coffee drink. So here's the deal. So you remember our last broadcast? I talked about they had $1 for
yes.
right. Okay. So apparently they have something else that they added to this,
Ooh.
where you can buy a card, and with this card you can get your dollar drink every day that you want.
What?
Yes, child.
Okay, I
So
didn't check it when we talked about it before, but I will
yeah,
now and I will check into that because I really need to
right.
look into that. That's
Right.
worth a
So
drive. That's
basically,
worth the 10, 15-minute drive to go get that.
so yeah, so every day you can. So basically, which is something I don't generally do, but it doesn't really matter. I can buy a cold brew for $1, and
You
I
could
can
heat
bring
it
it
up.
home,
You could
and
get
I
it with
can heat
no
it up.
ice and heat
Yeah,
it up. I mean,
that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been getting it with no ice, and I've been coming home and adding milk to it and warming it up.
and if you
And
get what size do they give you for the $1?
they give you a small, but
Okay.
it's not like a tiny small. It's a good size small. So it's like it's like what I would normally have, like a cup and a half of
Okay.
coffee.
That's
And so
reasonable.
that's reasonable. And especially if you don't add ice to it,
Oh yeah. You're getting a
you're
little
getting
more.
you're getting a little bit
Sometimes
more.
they jip you when they don't put ice in it. They'll be like, "Oh, if you don't have ice," and then they give you like less because
No,
they're
I
accounting.
that
But this
one
place
that
doesn't.
yeah, they don't do that here. I ask for the size, they fill it all up to the top, they give me a lid, they send me on my way.
I love
And
that for
that
you.
I do too. So that's what I've been doing. So
Nice.
I've had my cold brew, which I warm up.
Hey, whatever gets you through the day, and for $1, it's worth it. I will
Um
have to. It's on my list of things I have to do today. I just have a
when
lot. I
we're
have a lot
off.
happening, but that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. And what are you having?
I went because it's fall, not quite, but
Oh, yeah.
at the coffee places it's fall, and if you walk into any store, it's fall. I mean, they've already
Oh,
got. I mean, it's
Halloween. Yeah, it's got
barely,
Halloween.
but we've stepped our toe into September,
Oh, please.
and
They've been having Halloween
since July, we've had Halloween since July.
July. Are you
It's
kidding me?
nauseating. It's nauseating. Well, once a week, I go and I get my very favorite pumpkin iced pumpkin latte. And I
Good for
decided
you.
since we were recording today, I would go get one today. I had enough
Nah.
time after dropping the teenager off at school that I would go get my pumpkin latte this
Mm-hmm.
morning. So I am very much enjoying my pumpkin pie in a cup. And it's a
Nice.
big one. I go big or go home, and I had enough points. It's actually free. I looked when I got on the app. I was like, "Oh, I have enough for," and you can get whatever size, you can do whatever you want to it, and it's still free. So it should have been like $7.25, and it was
Oh,
nothing. It was nothing. So I
you
love
said
that
that
even more.
number
I know
exploded.
it didn't used to be that much, and it's a 32 ounce. Like this is like a big gulp of coffee.
Oh, I know. I know for you it's always the big ones, but
Go big or go home.
it just galls me to charge this much for
I
coffee.
know, I know.
Oh my,
So much has gone up. It's crazy. But
and
we have
it,
to
it
find
keeps
ways
going
around
up.
it. We have to find ways around it. And
Mm-hmm.
dollar coffee and free coffee and cheap coffee and buy one get one. We all of it. Like all of it. I'm here
Yes,
for all of it.
all, we're all over that.
And I make a
Hmm.
lot. You and I both. We make a lot at home. And
Oh,
we
we do. We
buy all
do.
the little extras to make it special or not, depending on what you like.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I probably make 80% of my coffee at home. At
Well,
least
I'm
once a
like
week,
90.
maybe twice I'll buy.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
it's
we do need
definitely
to treat ourselves because,
yes.
God alone knows we don't indulge in much of anything else. So,
I know. I don't
uh,
have much else to indulge in. So, my coffee is like my thing. So,
yes.
I'm going to enjoy it and it's so yummy and I have it
Well,
while we record today. I will be happily sipping on my iced pumpkin latte. All right.
all right.
Are you
So
ready? Let's get started.
we're in season 6, episode 8, Going Overboard. Oh, I
Okay.
love this episode.
Now, this episode, when they were filming this season, people who happened to be in Vancouver at the time caught them filming on a riverboat. And they saw some of the cast. They were trying to figure out, okay, what is this? Are they getting, because everybody knew the wedding was coming. They knew it was toward the end of the season. Then there was talk that, okay, Doc and Hope are still supposed to get married. And, could Denny and Lizzie get married? And obviously Mel and Jack are going to get married. So what is this boat? What is it about? People were suspecting that maybe it was a Hope and Doc wedding. We didn't know. We didn't know what was going to happen. That was the
Right.
speculation. And people saw them getting on the boat and they saw a bunch of the different cast that are normally not there, and that's why they thought it was more of a wedding. Like Joey, I think, was there. I think her name's Jenny Cooper. And so they were trying to figure out, like, what does this boat have to do? And it's nice when they go on location because instead of just the regular spots, or in the studio, which is all the offices and the houses and the clinic and the bar and all of that. Even though the bar is technically location, the inside isn't, but the outside is.
Right.
So it's fun. They did a lot of location for this season because of so much going on, which is fun.
Yeah, which is nice, yeah.
Yeah. So this episode says, Hope directs the rehearsal and helps Jack patch up a spat. And Brie and Mike reach a major milestone. Everett sets out to finish his heartfelt gift. Okay, all right. So maybe he is gonna do something for Mel. That would be nice, right?
It'd be a nice change.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so beautiful scenery. It must be early in the morning. Hard to say. Looks like sunrise. We've got Mel, and she is looking very stressed. Very stressed.
I have a feeling a horse is involved.
And Jack comes in, and he's like, hey, there she is. And they're all running around. And she goes, how did it go with Doc? She goes, it was fine. It was great. Just fine. Now, anytime someone tells you it's fine,
it's not fine.
It's not fine. It's never fine. It is. If someone says fine, it's always the opposite of fine. And she is just freaking out. And he's like, you're crushing those flowers. She's like, thanks, honey. He goes, no, that's not a compliment. And he stops her. He grabs her hands and he looks at her. You're literally turning them into potpourri. He grabs her hands and he was like, Mel, kind of like, breathe. And she's like, oh, she goes, okay, it wasn't fine. See, I told you. It's not fine. And she's throwing things. And she just looks pissed. And he's like, obviously, she goes, apparently, Doc is still the same stubborn old goat he was the day I met him. Because the two of them, if we remember when we left our friends in Virgin River, her and Doc had a bit of a spat. She insulted him. He insulted her.
That's, tit for tat.
I know. If you dish it out, you got to be able to take it. So Mel is hot under the collar. And Jack's like, okay, what happened? And she's like, we got into a fight, and he said I was just his nurse. And he goes, well, I don't think that's true. We all know Doc does not feel that way. And we all know that what she said she didn't mean either. But it's like their tension and their stress and the whole thing with Everett just took center stage, and they just said things they didn't mean. And it's, ugh. She goes, well, he seemed pretty committed to it. And Jack's looking at her like, she goes, so before I left, I told him that our wedding is just for family. And he is just my boss, and that maybe he shouldn't be in it. It's like, and the look on Jack's face is like, you did what? Like his eyes got so big, like,
Exactly. You basically threw the man under the bus.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, well, I know you didn't mean that. And she's like, I think I did. He goes, Mel, seriously, if he's not at the wedding or even the rehearsal, you're going to regret that. Because you can't come back from something like that. Like, he's trying to be the voice of reason. Because right now, she is not thinking clearly. Her anger is taking center stage, and she is just not thinking long term. She's thinking in the moment. And she's like,
she's acting like a bloody teenager.
Yeah. And she's like, well, if he wants to apologize to me, he knows where to find me. And he's like, look, I am not giving this another thought, okay? She's like, this is the beginning of our wedding weekend. You are now my sole focus. And our rehearsal, and I have to get these flowers to the riverboat. So now we know that the rehearsal dinner is at the riverboat. So now that's what is being used for. So that answers that question. And Jack is like, well, remember, you got to introduce Joey to Everett, too. It's like all these things have to happen. She goes, oh, my gosh, yes, I have to introduce Joey to Everett. And I need to find somebody to do Doc's reading. And Jack's like, I'll do that. I'll handle that one. No problem. I mean, he's trying to make this easy for her, but she's not making anything easy. And she's like, thanks. She goes, see, everything's fine. Everything is just fine. She goes,
And everything's not.
yeah, she's like, there is no problem. This is going to be great. It's like, oh, I know. Snaps her fingers. And he's like, oh. And she's like, you forgot the flowers. And she comes back to get the flowers. He goes, let me help. She goes, nope, we're good. She goes, love you too. And she is, man. And he looks so worried. He's like, okay, I gotta fix this. He's got to go into fix mode.
Because not only does this affect the two of them, but it brings Hope and him into the middle of this fight as well. Yeah. And you bring Hope into this, oh God, Lord help us all.
So as the architect of this wedding, Hope is on the farm, and she's got her megaphone and her clipboard, and she is belting out orders to all the people. I mean, there's things getting delivered and things that need to be set up and things that are getting moved from this side to that side. And she's like a little less to the left, and people are setting tables. And she goes, that lattice does not go there. It goes over by the ceremony. And about face, people, a little hustle wouldn't kill you either. And there's just workers everywhere. I mean, it is crazy. The amount of people and things that are being set up is crazy.
It's like a royal wedding.
It really is. It really is. At this pace, it's going to be a winter wedding. So not only is she barking orders, but now she's telling them they're not even moving fast enough. I mean, they do have a day or two. Now, here comes Jack, and he is coming in hot. He's like, okay, the only person that's going to help him fix this with Doc and Mel is Hope. Not like Hope doesn't have enough to do, but now he needs her help. And she's like, what are you doing here so early? Rehearsal's not even for a couple of hours. And she's looking at her watch, and he's like, all right, which means we've got a couple hours to solve a major problem. And he's trying to say it quietly because he doesn't want everybody to hear. And she's like, okay, what are we looking at? And he goes, Mel and Doc got in a fight. Now Doc's not coming to the wedding. And she's like, what? No. And he goes, oh, yeah. And she's like, God. She goes, this meant the world to him. What happened? And he's trying to explain. He goes, I'm not really sure, but it sounds like it's on Doc to apologize. So if you could please talk some sense into him. Now, he wasn't there. He doesn't know what was said, who said what, whose fault it is. It might be both of their faults. It might be one or the other. From Mel's perspective, Doc is the one that's in the wrong. So, of course, he's going to tell Hope, you got to get Doc to apologize. I'm sure that when Hope goes to talk to Doc, it's going to be the flip. And it's going to be like, no, it's Mel's fault, and she needs to apologize to me. We will see.
The he said, she said. Oh,
exactly.
This is going to be.
And she's like, if talking sense into Vernon was ever a viable option, she goes, Mel would never have come to this town. He goes, okay, then what do you suggest? She's like, I would suggest that we medal. Now, if there was an Olympic sport for medaling, Hope would have the gold. Every time.
Would have a triple gold.
She is the best medaler, and she will get it done. Mm-hmm. And of course, Jack looks at her and gives her the side eye like, but after what happened with Letter Thing 30 years ago, which messed up their marriage and everything else and put them on a road of not even really being civil to each other barely for 20 years, like, is she really willing? And I guess maybe she's like, you declared a moratorium on meddling. And he's like, all right, then I'm going to call a momentary unmoratorium on it. All right. Because he needs all the help he can get, or this wedding is going to be a disaster. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, please. She's like, okay. And she almost gets giddy because, girlfriend loves to meddle.
She is giddy.
She is like, it's like you can almost see her hands rubbing together and like the wheels turning.
Kid in a candy store, girl.
Oh my God.
It's like a kid in a candy store.
She's like, I'll go talk to Mel and express to her how sorry he is. You go tell Vernon how much it means to Mel for him to be in your wedding. And then she's thinking, she's like, right. She goes, and have him show up at the rehearsal today. He's like, all right. And she goes, and if all else fails, use your sad puppy dog face. And he goes, what? I don't have sad puppy dog face. And she's like, you will if you want this to work. And he's like, oh, right, sad puppy dog face. So now we're at Brie's place. Mike is coming from upstairs, and he's like, babe. And she's like, He's coming down in a towel. Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes, darling.
Nice.
Yes, ladies.
Now, I thought that he had moved in. I was mistaken. I assumed because he's there all the time and he's always coming from her bedroom and seems to be sleeping there a lot. Silly me for assuming he moved in. Apparently, he is still living at the motel. Now, this has been 4 months since Christmas, so he's still living in a motel. Seems a little expensive, but I don't know, whatever. I thought he would have at least moved into the B&B, but I don't know, whatever. So he comes downstairs in just a towel. He's like, can I use your deodorant? I left mine at the motel. She's like, oh, no, sir, you may not. I don't share my deodorant. She's like, some things are sacred. As he's standing there in a towel. And he's like, okay, can I have an apple? Or is this the Garden of Eden situation where those are sacred too? And she turns around and she throws him an apple. And she laughs at him. You have enough rations for a whole platoon there. She's like, yeah, well, my dad always shows up starving. And a hungry Sheridan is a cranky Sheridan. He goes, after Christmas, I just want to make sure that my dad is not a liability for Jack. He's like, I hear you. I'll do what I can to help. She looks at him. She goes, after I use my deodorant at the motel. And she's like, hold on, wait a minute, as he starts to walk away. She goes, why don't you leave it here? He goes, well, then how will I deodorize when I'm there? And she walks toward him. She goes, maybe bring all your stuff here and leave it. He's like, Brie Sheridan. And they're really close to each other. He's, are you asking me to move in with you? She's like, well, going back and forth is silly. And so is living in a motel forever. Plus, you look damn good in my house.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He goes, that might be because I'm happy here. She's like, good. She's like, you should know that I don't share my towel either. And he goes, you want to take it off then?
Ooh.
And she's like, yes, sir, I do. He's like, okay. And there goes his towel. Nice. And there's some kissy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least we've got the rules figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So now he may move in. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. So we're going to the riverboat, and looks like it's being set up for the rehearsal dinner. Mel is on her way there, and she's showing up with the flowers. It looks like her mood is a little bit better. Hopefully she's cleared her head just a little bit. So she's going inside, and she's looking at the long table, which is already set. It's set for 10 people, 12 people, I think 12 people. And she's there to finish decorating, whatever needs to be done. I'm sure that Preacher's involved with all of this since this is a food thing. And he was planning the menu with Jamie, and Hannah was giving her 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some nice music in the background. Now she's looking at the place cards, and she zeroes in on Doc's place card.
Oh, boy.
And it's like she was okay a minute ago, but now you can tell she's a little sad. Because, Doc is so important to her.
Exactly.
And she picks up his place card, and Preacher walks in, and he's like, Mel. And she's like, Preach? He goes, I didn't expect to see you here so early. He goes, well, I didn't expect to see you here at all because I thought you were done with food prep and we're going to hand everything off to the crew. And he's like, yeah, I did. She goes, Kaya walks in with another container because Preacher's holding one, Kaya's holding another. And she's like, oh, God, that is foul. And she sees Mel because she didn't see Mel because Preacher is such a large man. He was literally in front of her. And she's like, Mel. Hi, I didn't see you there. And Mel's looking like, you guys are up to something and you need to spill right now. She goes, okay, so if you two are both here, something is going on. Did something happen to the food? And Kai's like, no, nope. Oh, she goes, okay, then what's in the buckets? And then Hannah laughs. I did not think that could happen to Pork, who's walking in the door with another container. And she sees Mel, and she's like, Melinda, so nice to see you. And Mel
and somebody
sighs.
calls you by your first name.
Yeah.
When you're only been called by Mel, you know something's up.
She's like, can someone please tell me what's going on? Because she looks worried now. Preacher's looking at Kaya. Kaya's looking at Preacher. Hannah's looking at Preacher. Nobody wants to say. And they're all looking at Preacher. And Preacher's like, okay, so the power on the boat went out, so all the food in the fridge spoiled.
Ugh.
He goes, which means that pork that I was brining in the milk for tonight is bad. It's basically raw pork yogurt.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah, that's Hannah's contribution to the conversation. I love the way she put it. And Mel's like, nice. Hence the smell. And Preacher's like, but I can fix it, all right? I got this. It's Preacher. And he's very, firm. And Mel looks at him like, really? And the two, and Kaya and Hannah shake their heads like, yes, absolutely. Like, we believe in Preacher. And Mel's like, okay, all right, fine. I'll see you tonight. Like, she has to leave it to the professionals because there's nothing she can do about it.
Exactly, because girlfriend cannot cook anything.
And Preacher's like, okay. And she's like waving her hand like it smells really bad. Kaya and Hannah look at each other like, oh my gosh. And Preacher has a big smile on his face as Mel walks away. And then his smile goes away. And he looks at the two of them and he goes, I ain't got this, ladies. He goes, now, we need a whole new menu right now. So Mel walks out, and as she's leaving the boat, getting back on the dock, she runs into Hope. And Hope's like, Mel, hey, just the bride-to-be I wanted to see. She's like, how's your big day before your big day going? And she goes, oh, it's going. She goes, Doc's not coming to my wedding. And the main dish of my rehearsal dinner is gone rancid. And just as she says that, Preacher and the girls are trying to get off the boat with the things, and Hope kind of sees them, and Preacher, nudges them to go back on the boat. Get back on the boat. Well, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. And ironically, nothing on it at the same time. She goes, I'm actually here because of your fight with Vernon. And Mel looks at her. She goes, I know you know how stubborn he can be. She goes, yep. She goes, I came to tell you how bad he feels about everything he said to you. About everything he didn't say. And Mel's like, what didn't he say? So at the same time that Hope is trying to work something with Mel, Jack is over talking to Doc. And Jack's like, I'm sorry. Doc's like, she said she was sorry? He goes, yep, those were her exact words. Like, Jack, really? Like, you think Doc's going to buy that?
Jack doesn't lie very well.
No, he's terrible.
He's nowhere in the league of Hope.
And Doc's like, your fiance, Mel Monroe, says she's sorry? And he's so skeptical. And he goes, yeah. Mel says to Hope, well, that doesn't sound like him. And she's like, no, it does not. He goes, well, it's like they're having the same conversation and it's not going well for either of them.
Exactly.
Even though Doc doesn't believe what Jack is saying, Jack's going to forge ahead. He's like, well, that just proves how torn up she is about all of this. He goes, you're like a father to Mel. And of course Doc snaps right back and he's like, oh yeah, like a father who she doesn't want at her wedding ceremony. So then we're back to Mel and Hope, and Mel's like, well, I only said that because he said I was nothing more than his nurse. Now, remember, Jack and Hope don't know exactly what was said. They only know the outcome of it, which is that he's not going to go. So,
but Mel doesn't understand that she's the one who opened this can of worms.
Yes.
Which is what bothers me about this situation.
I know. I understand that. But Hope and Jack don't know what was said and how it was said in the context. So they're basically going into this blind. Once they find out what was said, it's like that may change how they approach the situation. And then when Hope hears that that's what Doc said, she's mortified. She's like, no, I didn't realize he said that. See? And Mel's like, hold on. If he didn't tell you what he said, how could he be sorry for saying it? Okay, she just got caught.
Yep.
She just got caught. And Hope's like, well, he couldn't. Not in so many words. Like, now she's trying to cover it up.
Now we're backtracking.
Ugh. So then we're back to Jack and Doc. He goes, well, just because she didn't say it directly doesn't mean she didn't say it in her heart.
Oh,
Oh, now they're really digging. And Doc's like, he's like, she wants you at our wedding, Doc. We both do. You and Hope are family. And Doc's trying to like go about his business. And Doc's like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Jack is trying to do the sad puppy dog face. Oh my God, it's pathetic. It is pathetic. And Doc is looking at him like, are you in pain? Like, what's, like, thank God I'm a doctor. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with your face? And he's looking at him like he's lost his, he walks up to him and he's like, what is that? And he goes, what? He goes, that. He goes, what are you doing with your face? And Jack's shaking his head like nothing. He goes, Hope? Did Hope put you up to this? And Jack's like, okay, Hope, I appreciate you trying to help. Because he shakes his head, yes. Oh my God, that was so sad. Gosh. Yeah. And Mel says the same thing. Okay, Hope, I appreciate you trying to help. But if he wants to apologize, he can come and apologize. Or I'll see him at work, okay? And she walks away. And Jack's like, okay. Hold on, I missed what Doc said. And Doc's like, and if you'll excuse me, I have to work.
They both failed.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, we are at the jail. And Brady is having a little sit down with Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, so to what do I owe the pleasure of this unexpected visit? And Brady's like, well, you can cut the crap, okay, Jimmy? I know what you were up to. Lark told me. Everything. And he like raises his eyebrows, sitting there nice and smug. He goes, the fact that you would use her, you would use your own daughter. Jimmy. He's like, it's low, even for you. And he's like, don't lecture me, Brady. Everything you have should have been mine. It should go to my family. He goes, well, don't worry. It will. I'll make sure of it. You see, I'm going to take real good care of Lark. And your daughter, your little girl. I'm going to make sure she stays far, far away from scumbags like you. And Jimmy launches himself over the table to get at Brady, who fortunately jumps up and steps back far enough. And the guard, of course, because he's in jail, reaches out and grabs him and says, stay down, as Jimmy, like, fights him.
Nothing like telling a man that another man's going to take care of his daughter.
And his girlfriend. He's going to take care of her, too. I mean, he's been taking care of her for like 6 months. So, you know, I mean, Jimmy was perfectly okay with it when it was under his control. Now that it's not, now he's not so happy. But they've got him pinned to the table. We got 2 guards holding him down. And Brady, like, leans over him a little bit, and he goes, I'll see you later, Jimmy.
Oh, throw salt in that one.
Oh, and he's like, you may think you're going to be their savior, Brady, but you're just a low-life devil, just like me. And the guard's like, get up, let's go. And he's like, low-life devil. And they're grabbing him. They've got him 2 guards to hold him back and take him out of there. And he yells, you're going to get what's coming to you. I'll make sure of it. Now, you're not allowed to make threats like that. You can get in trouble if you're in jail and you're making threats. So I don't know if there's going to be some repercussions to that. But Jimmy's not so smart. But they haul him off, and he's gone. So we are with Lizzie and Denny. And it looks like Denny is attempting to put together a crib. And Lizzie's like, hey. And he's like, hey. And she's like, looks like the crib's coming along. He's like, sorry, I doubted your assembling abilities. Because that's okay. I doubted them too. Never done anything like this. He's like, it should be done soon. And she's like, well, I picked up some different color palettes for the accent wall. He goes, you want to weigh in? And he's like, yeah. He goes, storybooks and sweet dreams is one color, and sunny disposition and modern nautical. He goes, I think I like sunny disposition. He's like, I kind of like modern nautical. He goes, it's an option for sure, but I'm giving birth to a little girl and not a tiny sailor. He goes, yeah, but girls can sail. She goes, I know girls can sail. He's like, I know you know girls can sail. She's like, well, why did you say that? He goes, I don't know. Oh, this is not looking good. He's like, why don't you just decide for us? She's like, because I want your opinion. And he's like, but you don't really, do you?
Oh, there's another fight coming.
Yeah. She's like, are we still talking about paint? He's like, I don't know. He goes, are we? She just huffs and turns around and walks out of the room. So these two are definitely not on the same page. Not looking good.
No kidding.
All right. It looks like the sewing circle ladies are continuing to work on Mel's wedding gown. And Muriel's like, okay, ladies, I thought the veil would be too much, but it's all going to be just perfect. We've got Muriel and Liddy and Connie. Everybody's there. And Connie's like, Jack won't be able to take his eyes off of Mel. They're so excited. Joellen's there. And they are working very hard to get all of this stuff done. Because remember, they literally had to remake her dress because it didn't,
Yep.
it wasn't the right one. And Joellen's like, when Connie said that Jack wouldn't be able to take his eyes off of Mel, Joellen's like, or his hands. And they're all like, oh. And Liddy's like, oh, love will be in the air tomorrow night. They're so excited. And Joellen's like, well, what about you, Muriel? How are things going with Walt Booth? And the two ladies like, oh, you know, slowly but surely. She has a nice little smile. Connie says the pace of your relationship wouldn't have anything to do with a certain doctor who's in town. And Muriel's like, no, it does not, Connie. And Joellen, she's like, have you told Walt about the biopsy? And Joellen's like, yeah. She's like, no. She's like, I was waiting until I heard back. She goes, well, now that I have, I guess I should say it out loud. And all the ladies, nobody knows. Like, the only person that she told was Cameron.
Yeah.
She's like, I do have cancer. And all the ladies are like, oh, sweetheart. She goes, no, please. I don't want your pity and I don't want your assurances. She's like, this is just a thing I have right now. And all the ladies are kind of standing there in shock. And then Joellen, she's like, I have hyperthyroidism. And Muriel looks at her like, okay. And Connie's like, I have hypothyroidism. And Liddy's like, I have gallstones. And then Joellen's like, I have a terrible bunion.
Oh my God. These ladies are
And
too
Liddy's
funny.
like, I still have diabetes. And I think Connie's like, I have irritable bowel. And Muriel starts laughing. They all start laughing. Joellen's like, the point is, we are women of a certain age, and we all have our things, but we also all have each other, and they all hold hands. And Muriel's like, yes, we do. She's like, thank you. Oh. So now we're back at the bar, and Preacher has to come up with a whole new menu, like right away, like pronto, because dinner is that night. So he's like, pivoting to paella with all this extra rice was genius. And with a simple trip to the market, we can pull off the best damn paella.
All right.
The best damn paella this town has ever seen. And Hannah's like, might be the first damn paella this town has ever tasted. And Kai's like, what can I do to help? Keep in mind, I have no idea how to make paella. He goes, you will be our shopper. And he rips off a piece of paper with a nice big list. Any problems, you can call me. And she's like, yep. He goes, we're also going to need a few carbon steel paella pans. He's looking at Hannah. She goes, from the culinary supply store in Clear River. Hannah's like, got it. He goes, so, are you up for this? It's like, this is a team effort. He goes, yes, chef. And he says to Kaya, I said, are you up for this? And they both yell, yes, chef. And he goes, okay, that's more like it. He goes, now, let's go get the show on the road. And Kaya is standing in the kitchen. The other two have already left. And she's like, oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I'll look it up because she has no idea.
Because this reminds me of my father and my mother. I swear to God. My mother gave my father a list. He goes into the grocery store and he looks like he is a lost person in the desert.
Isn't that most husbands?
It's just like, and which gives us, the children, a chance to run around the grocery store and get into trouble.
Lovely. I always find it's best to send a photo. If you want something specific, I know back then it wasn't possible, but nowadays, just send a photo. This is what I'm looking for. If you can't find this exact thing, then don't buy it. It's just simple that way. I do that for my kids, too. And I even tell them what aisle to look on. Because I can, like, if they're going to certain stores, you can look it up on the app. You could tell them, it's this aisle, look for this thing. And then they call you, I can't find it. I'm like, I've given you the aisle and I've given you a picture. Open your eyes a little wider. Like seriously? Do I have to do everything?
Well, they wanted to jump out at them and say, hello.
Oh, I know. I'm like, you know what? There's employees. Ask. You know, I'm not there. I can't do everything. Oh, my goodness. So it looks like we are at the park. And, of course, the bakery truck with a beautiful spot once again.
As always.
A beautiful spot next to the river. And it's Mel. And she's just chilling. She goes, I mean, you think that Hope would have learned her lesson. She's chatting with Jack. The two of them are sitting on a bench. He goes, well, you know, some people never learn, right? Like he's pretending like he is not part of this plan. He's like, I mean, you know, I'm sure she was coming from a loving place. Like now he's defending her. And she's like, ugh. She goes, I know. I'm not mad. I just wish her husband cared as much as she does. And he's like, well, what makes you so sure that he doesn't? She goes, because he would have apologized by now. I mean, our rehearsal's in an hour.
Oh, boy.
And then they hear a voice. It's like, hey, guys, I have your coffees. And Jack's like, oh. And it's Joey and Everett. Because remember, they're meeting for the first time. So the two of them went to go get 4 coffees. And they're all chatting together. Because this is the first time Joey is meeting Everett.
Yeah.
And coffee is always a great thing to sit around and drink while you're meeting. So Everett says, Jack, yours is black with 1 sugar. And Joey's like, Mel, splash of milk, spoonful of Nutella. And she's like, thank you. So Everett's like, whoa, that's the perk of getting your coffee from a bakery on wheels. He's like, I got one too. And Mel's like, I'm so glad that you two finally got to meet. Joey's like, yeah, and I'm glad that you two met. So Jack gets a phone call. He's like, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Just give me a sec. I'm sure it's Hope. And they're like, yeah. So he walks off and he's like, hi, Hope. He goes, listen, no luck with Doc. And Mel saw right through your charade. And she's like, what do you mean my charade? Like, Hope's like, what? Wasn't that a stellar performance? She thinks so, but no. He goes, well, she assumed you were the one doing the meddling, obviously. And I couldn't correct her, not on our wedding weekend. Ah, I see what you did there, and I respect it. If things go south, I'm happy to take the fall. He's like, I just told you, things have already gone south. Well, I'm not ready to give up on Mel and Vernon. I love them too much to let their pride get in the way of their happiness. You know, she is a very determined woman. And if plan A doesn't work, she'll come up with plan B.
B, C, D, until she gets her own way.
And Jack's like, well, I love them too, but they are adults. And maybe we should just let them make their own decisions.
Oh.
And Hope's like, but they're making bad ones. So what do you suggest? You got another plan? She's like, well, I was thinking we might need to up the theatricality. So now we're back with Mel and Jack, and she's like, well, she goes, okay, I don't understand why we're moving the rehearsal to the playhouse when we're getting married at the farm. And Jack's like, well, Hope said that with all the setup, she wants us to be somewhere quiet where we can focus. She goes, plus there's something about the time it takes to load the giant blocks of ice. And Mel's looking at Jack like, wait, what?
I don't know what that means.
What do you mean blocks of ice? He goes, well, we don't. He goes, the ice sculptures do. He goes, I still don't understand why we have to have ice sculptures. Jack's like, well, to sculpt the ice. And she just laughs. She goes, yes, Jack, I understand the literal function. And she kind of gets quiet. She goes, I'm just starting to feel like this event is getting out of hand. You think? You're just now getting that? It's been out of hand since they started planning with a binder.
And what? They're 2 days before the wedding?
It's the day before. It's the night before. Because they're getting married on Sunday, and the rehearsal is Saturday night, which is that night in an hour. Oh, my gosh. And he's like, yeah. He goes, well, I mean, that's kind of sweet, though, don't you think? It's like the whole town's going overboard to celebrate our love. And she's like, yeah. He goes, right? He goes, come on, everything's going to be fine. He gives her a kiss. And she just looks worried. Some beautiful scenery of the river.
She should be worried.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're at the Playhouse. And apparently they're all there to do the rehearsal. And Hope's like, you may now kiss the bride. And she's like, not for real until showtime, right as they're getting ready to touch lips. She's like, you don't want to burn a good one in rehearsal. Like, what? Everybody's there. We've got, all the usual suspects. And they're both looking at Hope like she's lost her mind. And she's like, right? He goes, okay, so we're done then? And Hope's like, and Jack's looking at Hope like giving her the eye like, please tell me we're not done. We need more time. Like, isn't Vernon supposed to show up? And she's like, actually, I'd like to run it again for safety. And you hear a voice. It's like, we have a matinee at 3, Hope, and it's actually June. Remember June, the postal worker?
Yeah.
She works at the Playhouse. So she peeks her head in. She's like, we have a matinee at 3, Hope. You said you'd be done. You'd be an hour tops. As she peeks her head out and tells her. She goes, yeah, I'm a politician, June. I say a lot of things. She goes, and not all of them turn out to be true. She goes, back to 1, people, and next time, hold hands. And Jack's like, yep. And Hope's like, Charlie, and the phone rings. So she goes over to Charlie, and she goes, I know you're just an understudy, but this poem is emotional. Can you try to squeeze out just 1 tear? And at the same time, it looks like that Preacher is getting a call on his phone because he looks like he needs to get out of there. And Charlie's like, well, I can't guarantee it, but I'll do my best.
Just love the whole, it's like it's instead of a wedding, it's like a Broadway,
musical,
rehearsal.
Yes, a Broadway show. Charlie's like, I'll do my best just for you. And he gives her an eye. She's like, thank you. So Preacher hides in a closet and he's like, okay, so how's it going? And Kaya's calling because she's in search of the list, the food list. And she's like, I could not find any fennel seed or fennel pollen. And so is it cool that I just get you extra fennel? She's got a big bag full of stuff and she's walking through, looks like a farmer's market. He goes, no, it's not cool. I need all of the stages. And she's like, she's looking at some other piece of vegetable or something. And he's like,
I can still relate to Preacher's panic at this point.
Because you have certain ingredients that you need, and you need the ingredients you want, not a replacement. Because it changes.
Because it changes the taste of the whole dish.
And that's exactly what he said. He says, I need the fennel for taste and texture. And she's searching. He goes, I need the fennel seed for the depth of flavor. And I need the fennel pollen to brighten and garnish the dish. And she's like, well, you lost me around the second time you said fennel. She is not the person that needs. But I will get you all the things. Slightly bigger problem. There are only 2 lobsters here. So, can you use another shellfish? And he's like, look, just tell Roberto I sent you, all right? He's always got a secret stash and hooks me up. And she's like, okay. You hear Hope in the background. Starting position. He goes, I got to go, all right? I believe in you. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
He's got no other choice.
And then she's trying to say one more thing. She goes, "Oh, okay, but," and he hangs up. So she just has to figure it out. She looks at the phone and she's like, "Okay." So Hope grabs Preacher. It's like, "Preacher, what are you doing?" It's like, "Once you land, hold your mark and don't move a muscle, people." So everybody's in the back of the theater. And Sam, which is Jack's dad. Oh, these two. Okay. So Sam is like, "Shh, don't. Somebody will hear you." And Amelia, Jack's mom, is giggling. And the two of them are looking awfully cozy. Now, wasn't she dating Javi? And we've got Brie and Mike just standing there staring at them like, what is going on? Like, what's happening here? And Brie says to Mike, what is it with those two? And Mike is like, "Oh, they're sleeping together." And Brie looks at Mike like he's lost his mind. She's like, "Are you nuts?" And he looks up at her and he's like, "Babe, check out the body language." And Brie's like, "What?"
Yep.
I mean, Sam is doing like the book boyfriend lean where he's got his arm against the wall and she's like,
I know,
facing him and she's giggling
and she's giggling like a teenager.
Oh my gosh. And Brie looks at him and she goes, "No, I mean, I know he couldn't be at the wedding, but my mom is with Javi." And she grabs his hand and they walk toward him and he goes, "Not tonight. She's not with Javi." And she slaps him in the chest and he just looks at her and kind of laughs. And Sam's like, "Are you ready to?" And Brie's like, "Hey, what are you guys laughing about?" And they both clear their throats like, "Well, we're not doing anything." And Amelia's like, "Your father made a joke about what a production this wedding has turned into." And he just shrugs like, "Yeah, I'm just a funny guy." And she's like, your sister's weddings were so simple, so elegant." And Sam's like, "So expensive." And they both laugh. And he's like, "I like how free this one turned out to be for us." And Amelia slaps Sam on the chest and they both kind of chuckle. And she says, "Speaking of weddings, what about you, Brie?" And then she looks at Mike. She goes, "No pressure, Mike, but also some pressure." She goes, "My grandkids aren't going to have themselves." Oh my gosh. And Brie looks at her dad, looks at her mom. She goes, "Mom, please, can we just take one step at a time?" As she makes big eyes at her mom, and Mike's just standing there awkwardly smiling. And he looks at Brie and he goes, "And we are taking steps." He shrugs and she's like, "Yeah." He goes, I asked Mike to move in." And the dad's like, "Well, that's great news." And mom's like, "That is great news. Although I did read an article about how the longer you live together before marriage, the less likely you are to stay married. So perhaps..."
Oh, Lord.
And Brie looks at her mother and father and says, "So perhaps you shouldn't be the one giving out advice on staying married." And Sam's like, "That wasn't your mother's fault. We both played a part, but the advice is solid, Brie." And the mom's like, "Whether you want to hear it from me or not, you need to think ahead. The longer you wait to get married, the harder it could be to start a family."
Oh, Lord.
And
does she even know if Brie wants to have children?
I don't know, and I don't know if she knows she had a miscarriage recently. Remember, that was barely 6 months ago.
Right. Well, I don't think she'll be sharing that information with her mother, considering the relationship both of them have.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they know about Dawn and everything, but I don't know. We don't know if she ever shared that, told her that. I don't know. But Brie's like, "Yeah, no, we all know that biological clock is ticking, Mom." And Mike's like, "That reminds me, I have a watch Jack wanted to borrow. It's in the car somewhere. You want to help me find it?" "Thank you for rescuing me." She's like, "Yeah, I do." And Sam's like, "You sure you want to do that?" And he's like, "Matrimonial Mussolini might kick you out of the ceremony for moving from your spot." And they all kind of chuckle. And Hope's like, "I heard that." And Mike's like, cover for us. Because Hope's standing on the stage with her arms folded. And Brie says to Mike as they're getting out of there, she's like, thank you for getting me out of there. And he's like, extractions are my specialty, as he laughs. And as they're heading toward the door, Doc is rushing in like his ass is on fire with his doctor bag. And he goes, hey, June, I got here as quick as I could. And she's like, hey. He goes, now where? And they're all standing there staring at him. And just as he walks in, he basically runs into Mel and Jack and Everett and Joey and Preacher. And he stopped. They're like, Doc, what are you doing here? And he's like, the theater manager said there was a medical emergency.
Oh, Lord.
What are you all doing here? And he's like, Hope changed the rehearsal and there is no emergency. Which, as Mel is saying that, she is looking very ticked off. And Hope comes from behind and she's like, yes, there is. It's just not a medical one. And Doc rolls his eyes and she's like, can I see you two in here for a second? Meaning Mel and Doc. Jack, you too. Okay. He's like, he just goes where he's told.
Exactly.
So everybody's kind of standing around as Hope pulls the three of them separately. And he goes, the emergency is that you two are not speaking. And it's threatening to put a cloud over the best day of Mel and Jack's life. And I know that if you two just talked it out, you'll see how ridiculous this is. And he's like, it's her fault. She tell him that. It's like you're trying to make my point for me. She's like, listen, you care for one another. There is no way that you can stand here and see the pain in each other's eyes and still be mad. She's like, nothing is more important than all of us sharing this special moment. And Doc's like, well, Mel said that she's got plenty of people to share her heart and her wedding program with and that she doesn't need me. She's like, do you really hate my father so much that you can't get past whatever it is he did for me? And Everett steps up and he goes, is that what this is all about? And Doc's like, Mel, if you knew. She's like, I don't know. She yells at him. She goes, I don't know because neither of you will talk about it. And she's yelling at them. She's like, it doesn't even matter. You know what matters? The first time I got married, my dad was not at my wedding. And this time, I thought I would get to have two. Of course, the supportive Jack puts his hand on her shoulder. And she's like, but I guess I was wrong. And she's like in tears and she just walks out. She grabs her stuff. And Hope's looking at Jack and looking at Doc and looking at Everett. And Jack looks like he's going to cry too. And he's looking at Doc like, you got to fix this. Mel grabs her phone because it was ringing. And she's like, Phil, hey, is everything okay with Marley? She's like, okay. Just stay calm and I'll be there. I'll be there soon. She goes, well, now I have an actual emergency to tend to. She's like, Hope, thank you. Thank you for trying. It's nice to know that somebody is. Wow. And Doc walks out.
This is not going to go good.
No, not at all. Now we are dealing with Lizzie and Denny. And Lizzie is very sad. She is contemplating her life choices at this point.
Well, I think they both are.
Yeah. So she's standing on the porch. And Denny walks out. And he's like, can we talk for a second? She's like, sure. He goes, I don't know how you expect me to prepare for a baby without preparing for a future, and for your future without me. She goes, how do you expect me to think about that right now, Denny? We have so much to worry about. I can't think about the fact that I'm going to outlive you. I certainly can't think about outliving our little girl. Every time I do, and she starts to cry. She goes, I can't breathe. She's like, I can't move. And honestly, I can't. I don't want to test her because I'm in no rush to confirm my worst fears might come true. He's like, I want to help you. I just want to help you while I'm still here, while I'm still alive. I'm just being realistic. She goes, well, our reality sucks, Denny, and you can't help me. He goes, look, I haven't said this to you before because I've been trying to be strong. But seriously, even if we save up enough money, it doesn't change how our story ends, does it? We have zero control. Zero. So please, if you want to help me, just accept and figure out a way to be strong too. It's so sad. She's like, because it's one thing for you to freak me out, but I'm not going to let you freak out our daughter. She goes, now, if you'll excuse me, it's been 45 minutes since I've eaten, so I'm starving. He's like, wait. He's like, you want mac and cheese? She's like, with hot dogs? And don't tell me that's bad for the baby. Because if you cook them through, it's fine. And he walks up to her. And he's like, I'll make enough for 3.
Mac and cheese and hot dog.
Yeah,
Hey, whatever floats your
that's
boat.
yummy. That's yummy. So Mel is over at Marley and the couple that's adopting the baby, and they're all worried. The husband is like a worry wart. Like, he seems way more worried and invested than anybody. He's kind of like it's overpowering.
Yeah, sounds like some of my clients.
Yes, I know. And he's like, "Is anything wrong with the baby?" And Mel's just checking her blood pressure. And he's like, "I read on the internet about some women who had intense cramping." And he's like pacing. He goes, and the wife is like, "Phil, we don't know that this is related to that at all." Like, the wife seems like calm and supportive. She's standing next to Marley, like she's right there. And the dad just keeps like pacing and ranting. And he's like, "Yeah, but it could be some sort of delayed reaction to the rock slide." And it's like they're freaking poor Marley out, you know? Like, she's getting nervous because he's freaking out. Like, if he would just calm down, everybody would be okay. And Mel's like, "You okay?" Phil says, "Internal bleeding from the airbag." And they all look at him. And Mel finally turns around. And he's like, "That's highly unlikely, okay?" And Marley's kind of wincing. And Mel's like, "Are you having any other symptoms?" And she's like, "No." She goes, "It's just a pain in my stomach and some lower back pain." And she's like, "Okay, why don't we do an ultrasound and check on the baby?" And she's like, "Thank you, Mel." And she's like, "Okay, let's check it out." And so she's like getting the husband out of the way. She's like, "Excuse me," because he's like very overpowering. And then he goes right up to Marley and he's like stressing out and taking deep breaths, and he's kind of freaking out.
Just what a pregnant woman needs.
I know. Okay, so now we've got Brady and Lark, and it seems they've patched things up. I mean,
apparently so. I'm not feeling good about this, but hey.
It's hard for me to believe that he took her back that easily. Of all people,
well, I think
Lark?
part of it is this. Okay, so I think part of it is this. Brady has been given chances when he messed up.
Right.
So I think he is giving her that same benefit of the doubt, because when things were going rough for him, Jack was always there to back him up.
So I get that. Okay.
So I think that's why he's willing to forgive her and give her another chance, because he himself has been given so many chances.
Okay, I'll buy that. It's just, I don't know.
Oh, I know. Don't get me wrong. I am still not a fan of hers.
He's paying for this in the end.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
this is going to bite him in the ass, so to speak.
In more ways than one, honey.
Because this is not going to end well.
Nope.
Okay, well, they're together and they're riding his motorcycle. They get off the motorcycle and he's like, "What are we doing here?" And she's like, "You'll see." And he's like, "All right." And she wants to show him something. So they walk around the corner and he's like, "Where are you taking me?" She's like, "Just wait." And he stops sort of dead in his tracks and he's looking at this Lawrence Automotive place. It's like a garage with some old cars and has a big for lease sign. And then there's a big sign across it that says that it's been leased. It's a commercial space. It's an auto and storage and what have you. And he looks at her and he's like, "Is that the shop I was looking at online?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know you gave it up because you were trying to help my mom." She goes, "I really think it's perfect for you." He goes, "Well, it's too late now. Somebody leased it." And she smiles. She's like, "I know." And he's like, "You did?" And she shakes her head yes. And he's like, "What?" Like his baffled look on his face. She's like, "I used the money I saved working at the B&B to pay your first month and your security." And he's like, "What?" He goes, "I hope you still want the shop because I'm kind of your biggest investor." And they both kind of chuckle. They kind of laugh. He's like, "God." He's like, "You didn't have to do this." She's like, "I know. I wanted to. I messed up, and I just want to prove to you that you can trust me and that I'm invested in your dreams." So he gives her a kiss. Interesting. He's like, Thank you.
As they say, I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Yeah, I know. So now we're at the Virgin River Cemetery.
Why?
And we are at a grave site for a Jordan Pullman. It says sunrise 1987 to sunset 1999. So there's no actual date. It's interesting how every time we're at a cemetery, Like for Mel's husband, when she went to the gravesite in like episode 2 or 3 or something, they never have a date. They just have names. So it's because they don't want to. They have a year. And we knew that this was 30 years ago or 25 years ago or whatever, 25 years ago.
And this is a 12-year-old boy.
12-year-old boy. And this was the boy that died that caused all these problems.
This one kid has had such tripling effects in so many people's lives.
Right? I know. It's
I don't even think his parents knew that this was happening.
I mean, it's like the butterfly effect.
Yep. Or the pebble effect.
Yeah. Doc is there, and he looks like he's kind of like clearing out the leaves, brushing things off, making everything look nice. And just as he comes around to the front of the gravestone, Everett walks up. And Doc is like kneeling down so he can brush off the different things. And he sees Everett walk up, and he's like, I've seen you here over the years. And he's like, really? He's like, I've never seen you. He goes, yeah, and Everett's like, I've kept my distance out of respect for you. And Everett's like, I don't need you to like me, Vernon. But I need you to show up and support my daughter, even if I'm there. And Doc's like, oh, don't you think I want to? And Everett's like, I don't know what you want. And Everett's like, you're the one who's held a grudge. And Doc's like, well, I'm very glad that you found a way to forgive yourself for what happened that night. But I sure have not. He's like, forgiven me or yourself? And Doc takes a deep breath. He's like, had I been by Jordan's side that night, he goes, when he took a turn, I could have saved his life. And he's like, but instead I was off saving yours. And you had the nerve to say to me, and Everett's like, I wish you'd let me die. And Doc's like, yeah? And Everett's like, I remember. What I did that night was stupid, and it was selfish. But Jordan dying during the hours while you were gone wasn't my fault. It wasn't yours either. So if you can't forgive me, fine. But it's high time you forgive yourself. And Doc's like, what the hell were you thinking? Getting drunk, going out on a joyride? And Everett's like, it wasn't a joyride. It's like it's really hard for him to like put these thoughts together and actually say them out loud. Because he doesn't even want to look at Doc. But it's like he has to come clean because he's been holding this for all these years. And he finally says it out loud, which is something that no one knew. He's held this in all these years. And he says to Doc, I didn't swerve off the road, Vernon. And he goes and he sits down on the bench right by the gravesite. He goes, I drove into that tree on purpose. And Doc looks at him like he's lost his mind. He goes, and Everett's like, I wanted to die. And Doc looks at him like so puzzled and confused. He's like, why? Why would you want that? And Everett takes a very deep breath. And he's like, after Sarah died, I was lost. He's like, part of me believed I had something worth living for, till the day I called Mel's father and told him I wanted to be in her life. Mel had just lost her mom, and he thought losing the only father she'd ever known would be too much for her to take, and I knew he was right. And Doc's kind of like, it's all coming clear to him now, and he's shaking his head. His eyes, both of them have teary eyes. This is another, everybody's got teary eyes in this episode.
Tell me about it.
He's like, I was devastated losing Sarah. But when I lost the chance of ever knowing Mel, it shattered me. I wanted out. And it all becomes clear to Doc. He's like, if I had known then what was in store for me today, I would have thanked you for saving my life. Because of what you did that night, I got to meet my daughter. Because of you, I get to be her father now. Vernon, you saved me in my darkest hour. Giving Mel a job at your clinic and taking her under your wing did the same thing for her. So I'll say now what I should have said before. Thank you. Aw, Doc's crying. And he's like, thank you. And he just walks away. Now Doc has a whole new perspective on everything he thought. Goodness. So we're back at the clinic, and Mel is there with Marley and the adoptive parents, and they're doing an ultrasound just to make sure everything's okay. So she's like, okay, so the good news is you're fine. Your baby is fine. And the couple are like taking a deep breath, and Phil takes a deep breath, and she's like, it's just gas. And Marley's like laughing. She goes, oh. She's like, yeah. She goes, you know, eating Indian food in New York while you're pregnant is risky, but eating it in Clear River is really tempting fate. So I'm going to see if we have any apple cider vinegar, so we can try to relieve this naturally. And Marley's like, oh, please, God, yes. It feels like I'm going into labor. The husband's like, what? And Mel's like, no, she's not. She's fine. Like, relax. And he's like, thank you. Can I get some water? And she's like, yeah, sure. Come with me. God, they need to get him out of the room. So the father follows Mel into the kitchen. And she's like, the water's in the fridge. He goes, actually, I just wanted to apologize for freaking out. And she's like, oh. He's like, I can't believe how attached I am. And it's not even mine. He's like, I didn't expect to love the baby like this already, you know? And Mel's like, yeah, well, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You and Darla have wanted this a long time. And he's like, yeah, I guess once you decide to give your love, even if it's not your biological child, feelings can be just as powerful. And Mel, it's like clicking.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah. Like sometimes the universe just gives you what you need at the right time.
Exactly.
To help you put things into perspective. So Doc
And
is getting his own perspective, and now Mel's getting
Right. And you have to be open to accept it.
And Doc didn't used to be open to this kind of stuff, but Mel has softened him up over the Virgin River timeline 18 months.
Yeah.
6 seasons. He will accept input, I guess you can say. Mel has always been open, but Doc is learning. But sometimes you get what you need exactly when you need it.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, you're right. So now we're back at Hope and Doc's, and it looks like that Denny made mac and cheese with hot dogs for Lizzie, and she's just eating away. And she's just taking like very satisfying deep breaths. And he's like, I understand how you feel. He goes, I just wish there was more I could do for you. And she's like, I wish there was a book called What to Expect When You're Expecting a Catastrophic Demise. Jeez. Lord.
That's drama.
Yeah. And he's like, it's okay to laugh about it. And she's like, I hope so. He's like, I have to. He goes, otherwise it's all too dark. There's no good way to handle this, but alone is definitely not good. That's why I want to know if she has it. By the time she's old enough to decide whether to get tested, I might be gone, like my mom was. And I would have given anything to know how she was able to be so strong. When I found out I had HD, I never felt more alone in my entire life. And I never want our daughter to feel that way. I mean, he's teary. And Lizzie's like, I'm sorry you felt so alone. But you're not alone now. And she won't be either. I know her having me is not the same as having someone who really understands. I hope you know I don't want our daughter to feel that way either. He's like, I know. I know we both just want to protect her. So they're kind of like, oh, she's like, all right. And he looks at her like, what? She goes, let's test her. And he's like, what? Are you sure? She goes, but only after we get to know her, okay? Because no matter what, she's going to be more than just a disease. Yeah. Just like you are.
Well, they finally, because this has been hanging in the air for them.
Yes, this is something that they had to figure out.
Exactly. Because they are the only two people that can answer these questions.
Right.
So, I mean, he's freaking out because he's trying to anticipate what's going on, and she's sort of in denial because she doesn't want to deal with it right now. So they've got to come to a middle ground. So this is their middle ground.
Well, and I mean, his experience is he found out, but then he was alone in finding out. Like think of how if he would have found out when he was, say, a young teenager, you know, not 18, but like maybe 12 or 13, where he had time to like talk to his mom about it because his mom had it. So learning from her experience and how she dealt with it. I mean, he saw what a strong person she was, but by the time it was a reality, it was too late. And it's like, if you don't want that for your child, then why would you put your child in that position? And that's what, I mean, Lizzie lives in the moment. So she
does.
Yeah. But she also wants to be informed. It's better to know and be able to learn to deal with something than to be blindsided by it later.
Yeah. Definitely.
It looks like they're deciding that they want to get to know their daughter first as a person before they get to know if she's a person with a disease. And they still don't even know if she's got it. Like that, they could be worrying about all this for nothing. I mean, it's like 50-50 or whatever. I don't know what the chances are. There's a chance, and it's a decent possibility, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it's set in stone because they don't even know yet. And they want to make sure that they know her as a person. And that's the goal. So Jenny's like, she is so lucky to have you as a mom. She's like, thanks. I agree. Okay, Lizzie, calm down. All right. So it looks like the sun is going down. We are getting to the rehearsal dinner. Everybody is on the boat. On the very top level, they've got it set up kind of like cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
And Hope is just kind of like leaning on a table, like looking out into the water. And Hope's like, hey, didn't I tell you that it was going to be a beautiful night? As she says to Jack. And he goes, oh, well, you look stunning. She's like, thanks. And so Preacher shows up. Hope's like, this is absolutely gorgeous. Jack brings Mel an hors d'oeuvre, and he's like, to us. And they have like their little hors d'oeuvre, and they're toasting their little hors d'oeuvres. And he's like, I have to admit something. And she's like, is it that you were helping Hope with her little scheme? Like she didn't know. And he's like, how did you know that? She goes, because I can read you like a book. And he's like, really? And he's, yeah. He goes, I'm sorry. She goes, no, thanks for trying. It really does feel wrong that Doc's going to miss this. And he's like, well, that only took you about 9 hours to admit. And she's like, great. He's like, I think that's some kind of record, but it's progress. And she's giving him some silly smile. He's like, yeah. She's like, look at us growing together. She's like, well, it's partially my fault, and I may have taken his feelings for granted. So the captain is on the PA system, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, the boat's about to push off the dock. So everyone find your seats. Dinner will begin shortly. And Jack's like, here we go. She's like, okie dokie. So she grabs his arm, and the two of them are walking. He's like, allow me, Miss Monroe. He goes, this might be the last time you ever call me that. He's like, oh, you're right. And Doc's like, hey, hey, hey. And you see him running down the ramp to get onto the boat because he doesn't want to miss it. He's like, hey, I hear there's an emergency, as he's yelling. And Mel and Doc, oh, they're smiling at each other. So I think it's okay. Aw.
Thank God.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about timing, like at the very last second.
Mm-hmm.
So the riverboat, this is a riverboat cruise that is the rehearsal dinner. So they are out on the riverboat down the river. They're being served a lovely dinner that, thank goodness, Preacher saved the day. Nice song in the background. Everyone's sitting around the table. It looks like Doc is at the head of one table with Mel right on the other side of him, which is where it should be. And Jack's like, all right, to Preacher. And Doc's like, yes, chef. And Jack's like, to the chef. And he's like, oh, come on. And they're all passing food around, and everybody's eating. It's looking good. They pulled it off. Unbelievable. So Doc stands up, and he uses his piece of silverware to ring his glass to get everyone's attention. And it looks like that Everett is at the other end of the table. So it's like her fathers are both heads of the table. So Doc stands up, and he's like, I'm just darn thankful to be here tonight. But most of all, I'm thrilled to see the two of you becoming one. In some ways, it feels like you've always been together, which it really does. And Jack's so sweet. He puts his arm around Mel. He goes, and Jack, you are a pillar of our community and a leader in times of crisis. And everyone's shaking their head. He goes, Mel, Jack could not have found a more fitting and worthy a partner than he did in you. And he's like, well, that's true. He goes, when I spoke to your father, and yes, we did speak, and Everett nods his head. He's like, he reminded me how much you had gone through before you came to our town. And he insinuated that I was the one who looked out for you when you arrived here. But the truth of the matter is, you were the one who looked after me. And she's like, aw. And she reaches out and holds his hand. He's like, I needed you. Even if it took me a little time to see it. And Mel's like, aw. And Hope's kind of like shaking her head like, yeah, see, told you. I promise you that I will always be there for you. So, here is to second chances, second chapters, and most of all, to the lovely couple. I love you both so very much. And Hope's like, to Mel and Jack. Everyone cheers. And Mel leans over. She's like, thank you so much. That was a beautiful speech. And Hope's looking on at the two of them going, oh, thank God they worked it out.
Exactly.
Seriously. I mean, as the sun is setting and the riverboat is going
Well,
down.
the scheming takes a lot out of her.
Oh, yeah, it does. So Doc is in the very front of the boat, and he's just kind of there by himself as the boat's going down the river. And Mel comes out, and she's like, Doc? So the two of them are going to have a little chat. And she's like, hey. She's like, listen, I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to hurt your feelings. When I uninvited you to walk me down the aisle, he goes, yeah, well. He goes, I guess I was just too proud to tell you how I really felt. He's like, I'd like to say I'd be more humble next time, but she's like, but you can't teach an old goat new tricks. He goes, if anybody can, it'd be you. And they both laugh. So they finally give a big hug. Oh, I'm glad they worked it out.
Thank God.
So now they're just going to stand there together, arm in arm, watching the sunset over the Virgin River. So cool. Okay, so we're back at the clinic, and it looks like Denny borrowed the keys to the birthing center and brought Lizzie in there quietly. Because everybody's on the riverboat. They're at the rehearsal dinner, so nobody's going to come around. And Denny's like, I thought we could spend some time getting to know our daughter. And Lizzie's looking at him like, what are you talking about? She's like, do you know how to use that thing? And he turns around because he walked up to the ultrasound machine. He goes, well, we're about to find out. So he pulls it over, and she's walking over to him. I mean, I guess they'll figure it out. So she pulls her belly out, and he gets the wand, and they're moving it around, and they're looking, and they can see the baby. And she's like, what should we name her? And he's like, something nautical. And she looks at him like, ugh. He goes, let's make a list. Figure it out together. She's like, we could do that. Or we could name her after your mom. And he shakes his head, yes. Oh, they're both crying. So sweet. Oh, now the riverboat, still on the river, but now it's nighttime. So it's all lit up. It's got all kinds of lights. It's really cool. Looks like they're heading in because it's toward the end of the evening. And the captain's like, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 5 minutes from shore. Please collect your belongings. Mel's like, aw. And everybody's hugging Mel at Kaya. And she's like, this is such an amazing day. I don't want to leave. And Jack's like, we kind of have to, babe. It's the end of the night. He's like, don't forget. Jack goes over to Preacher, and he's like, hey, thank you. And Preacher's like, hey, gives him a big hug. He's like, so, Preacher's like, the after party's at my place. And everybody's like, oh, we'll meet you there. And Joey's like, I have to go get the kids. They're at Liddy's. Big day tomorrow. So she gives Mel a big hug. And she leans over, she goes over, she goes, Mom, what about you? You going to come? And she goes, oh, no, not me. She goes, I need to get my beauty rest. Good night, everyone. And Jack's like, okay, see ya. And Brie leans over to the dad, and he goes, Dad? He goes, no, I'll leave it to you kids. Good night, honey. And he's out of there, too. Gives Brie a kiss on the cheek. Is good night, Mike. And he's like, good night, Mr. Sheridan. And he leans over to Jack and Mel, and he's like, "Good night, happy couple." Jack's like, "Bye, Dad." And Mel's like, "Good night." And so, like, "How about you two?" And Jack's like, "We would. There's just something I kind of wanted to do together as our official last night as fiancés." And she's like, "Oh, okay then. I'm going to go with him." So he's got something planned. And like, "Good night. Good night, everybody." Jack's like, "Did you say ew?" Oh my gosh. So there's going to be a very small gathering at Preacher's. It looks like it's just going to be Brie and Mike and Preacher and Kaya.
That's all right.
So we're back at the B&B because Brady is taking Lark back. And he's like, "I can't believe you did this. It's really great getting this body shop for him." And he goes, "You got any other hidden talents you want to share with me?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "No." He's like, "I can honestly say you know everything there is to know about me now." As she stands in her doorway, he's like, she's like, "Hazel is at a sleepover."
Ooh.
And he's like, "Tomorrow's a big day with the wedding and everything." And she's like, "So I just think, she's like, "Yeah." And speaking of the wedding, I know the kid wanted to go. So if you're okay with it, where we are, maybe we could all go together. She's like, "I'd love that." And Hazel will be thrilled. She's already picked out your earrings. He goes, "Oh, has she now?" "Well, not the purple ones. Those hurt." He's like, "Good night." She's like, "Good night." So she seems happy as she's standing in the doorway.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
He hasn't slept with her as yet, right?
Oh, no, I'm sure they have.
Okay.
They've been together
All
6
right.
months. I am sure. But I mean, it's just complicated with the kid. So
Right.
I'm sure. Even if it's
Okay.
in the middle of the day at his place and whatever. So yeah. Yeah,
All right.
I'm sure. I'm sure that has already happened. So I guess it's after Preachers, and Brie and Mike are back at Brie's house. Remember, the dad's staying there. And
Yeah.
Brie is like, "Oh, in the guest room." And he's like, "You think your dad's already asleep?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, that man falls asleep in an instant. I'm pretty sure he slept through most of my graduation." And they're whispering because they don't want to wake him up, whether he's a light sleeper or not. He goes, "All right, I'll just sneak in and grab one." So he's pretending to like go up, kind of like Charlie's Angels style with a fake gun, and he's sneaking up the steps, trying to be all stealthily. And Bree's just laughing at him. She's putting her coat down, and Mike yells, "Amelia!" And she goes, "Oh, Mike!" And Mike starts laughing, and Bree turns around, and all of a sudden you hear Sam's voice. "It's not polite to stare, Mike." And Bree looks mortified. And he's
Exactly.
like, and Sam's like, "Avert your eyes." Amelia laughs. She goes, "Stop, just pass." And Bree has got her hand over her face, and she's like, "Oh my God." Amelia's laughing. She's like, "Pass me that sheet." And Mike is standing outside of the door, like looking mortified.
Well, yeah. If
He
I saw my girlfriend's parents half naked, I'd be
right?
mortified too.
And he's like averting his eyes. He's looking on the ceiling. He's walking very briskly down the steps. And Bree is like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. You were right." And he's like, "Yeah, I was. Nothing gets by me."
I'm
And
sure he
they're
didn't want
both
to be
taking
right
deep
about that.
breaths. They're like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." He goes, "Can we get out of here?" She's like, "Okay, yes, yes, please." And then you hear Sam and Amelia cracking up, like hysterically laughing. And Bree just looks up the steps and she like rolls her eyes and heads out the door. So we are back at Mel and Jack's new house, and they're playing a really good song, which is very apropos for this. The song is called "To Build a Home." Aww. And Mel is just like, what's going on? So they're holding hands as they go up to the house in the front door. And they walk in, all the lights go on, and it's not done. I mean, there's still a lot to be done, but the
They need,
basic structure.
yeah, they need walls.
Right. So right now it's kind of like a big open space, but I mean, they can see the vision, they can see it. So he's going to walk her through the vision, and he's like, "Okay. So this is the living room." And she's like, "Mhm." And they have a big fireplace, big stone fireplace, lots of windows. I mean, this house is going to be beautiful. I can't wait in season 7. Hopefully they'll be fully moved in and everything. Can't wait. And they can look out the window, they can see the barn. Very cool. And he's walking her through it so he can help her see the vision. And very high ceilings, there's a staircase. He's like, "This is the kitchen." He's walking her through, and she's like, "Mm-hmm." He's like, "Jack, we're going to have walls." So excited. And they're looking around, and he's like, "Are we in the bedroom?" And he's holding her hands, and he's walking backwards, pulling her forward. And she's looking at him. She's laughing at him. Like, what? And he walks in, he holds her hands, and he goes to hold her, and he's like, "Now we are." And she goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Nice." She goes, "Should we try it out?" And he shakes his head, "Yes." A kissy kiss. Very cute. They're very cute together. This is the night before their wedding.
Yes, they are.
It's a big house.
It's a huge house.
Oh, yeah.
You got moonlight and everything.
Oh, I know. Okay, so we are at Everett's house, and remember the song that he wrote for Mel's mom that he never finished? Remember he told Mel he never finished it? It looks like he's working on it. So he's got his guitar, and he's singing, and the words are, "It's harder to love when you know the cost. You can't forget all that you lost, but you brought me back out from the pines." This must be so hard for him. "You saved my soul and this heart of mine." Wow. So it looks like he's either reminiscing about the song as he's crying when he's singing it, or he's maybe trying to finish it because he's got his old book out when he had written all the lyrics and when he used to go on tour, and looking at pictures of her, an old picture from when she was young. And then he actually says, "I finished it, baby," which means he finished the song. Wow. And he's writing down the final lyrics that he's been able to, I mean, how many years? 30 years? 25 years? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
As he's writing, he's starting to have some shaking, and his arm is a little stiff, and he goes to grab his heart, and he starts breathing really heavy, wincing, and he gets his phone. He uses his guitar to stand up, and he falls down, and he looks very nervous. And the phone is ringing and vibrating at Mel's, and she sees the phone ringing. She gets up. She sees that it's him in the middle of the night. She's like, "Everett?" She's like, okay, I'll be right there. I'm going to call 911. And she's like, "Jack, I think my father's having a heart attack." And they jump out of bed like lightning.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to end it. And this episode, by the way, was directed by Martin Henderson.
Oh.
He had his directorial debut on this episode.
Nice.
There was talk before about, like, how is it to act and direct yourself?
And direct, yeah.
Not only everyone else, but yourself.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's something he's always wanted to do, and they gave him the opportunity to do that. I think they've done that with a few of the cast. I know that they've asked Alex Breckenridge if she's like, no, no, I'm good. Got enough on my plate. Don't need anything more. Maybe someday, it's something that interests her someday, but not now. She said she wasn't super comfortable directing herself. Like maybe if it was a separate project. But they said that he was so serious and so dedicated, and everyone was on the cast was so impressed with how well he did directing everyone, and they say that sometimes the best directors are actors.
Actors, yeah, I've heard that. I saw that with Scandal as well.
Yeah, I
When
mean,
they
they get it.
a lot,
They get
yeah,
the whole, like, why you
yeah,
standing here and why you're doing this and how this all works. You
yeah,
know, people that understand the whole aspect of everything and can see both sides of it tend to be much more,
better,
you
yeah.
know,
They
successful
they tend to
directors.
do well, yeah, because they've been in both places.
Yeah.
So now they understand because a lot of directors have never acted. So
Yeah.
that's, and and that's fine. But you're directing people that you don't understand what it's like to be in their shoes.
Right, right.
So
And the same thing I've noticed with writers. Some of the writers are also actors. There's several
yeah.
writers on the show that are actors,
Mm.
and that were actors, maybe not anymore. And they tend to write from an actor's perspective. So it's like not only I'm telling a story, but how do I see it on
Yeah.
screen? So it's so interesting. But they said he did a great job. That they were very impressed with him, and I don't know that he said it was a lot of work. A
Oh,
lot
I
of
did.
work. Not only learning all your own lines, but
Yeah.
everybody else and where they're supposed to be and how it's supposed to look and breaking it all down. And
Yeah.
it was sort of up in the air if he'd ever do it again. But it's kind of like I did it once, and maybe he'll do something that he won't be in next time that he directs
And
because
yeah.
it
Hmm.
might be a little easier. But anyway, so
It's,
that
it's
was
a lot of
awesome.
it's a lot of hats to have on.
Yeah, all at the same time. And
Hmm.
there was some behind the scenes video of that. It was the episode that he was directing, and he was talking to Alex Breckenridge, like explaining something, like as the director, not
Hmm.
just I'm your scene partner. So it was interesting to see that different dynamic. But everyone, it worked out really well. It was a great episode. And we've moved on. Now we've got two
Two more
left.
left.
Yeah, we have
Oh, wow.
The Wedding and After the Wedding a little bit.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this season actually goes for up to the wedding day and one more day. That's where this season ends, is the day after the wedding. And that's where we will end for the whole season. And then the following season, season 7, will pick up, which in Virgin River time is a few hours after season 6 ends. So that'll be very interesting. I love how the time just doesn't exist in Virgin River. It's like the Twilight Zone.
It doesn't.
It
This is
doesn't.
why. That's why they have to replace pets and babies.
I know, right? So true. So true.
Oh
All right.
yes.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Gigi, once again. We've got
Thanks, Trace.
2 more episodes, and we're getting to the
Okay.
really good stuff. We're almost to the wedding.
Yep.
We've been
Exciting.
waiting 6
Yeah.
seasons, finally. Oh my
Tell me
gosh.
about it.
It's funny, my daughter's like, isn't their wedding like aren't they moving a little fast? I'm like, it's been 6 seasons. She goes, yeah, but didn't you say in like Virgin River time it's like a year and a half? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it feels like 6 years. Because it has been. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny. But that's okay. They're moving fast. They're moving slow. I mean, some people, when you know, you know. The heart,
I
what do they
guess
say? The heart wants what the heart wants.
that's the
So
talk. Yes.
that's okay. So
All right,
we're here
folks.
for it. So thank you very much, and we will be back
Au revoir.
for another episode soon enough. See you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.